Hey y'all, welcome to today's video. This is episode 8 of opinions on popular fragrances, hyped perfumes. Should we purchase them or should we not? Purely my opinion. Of course, I have 20 to share with you in this video, as I have been doing for about a year. I have a playlist that's linked down in the description box of episodes 1 through 7 of this. And so that's a lot of fragrances that I have spent money on. Sampling to see if they were worth purchasing or not. It's been really helpful for me to do this series because I am like a chronic blind buyer. I love to be online looking at fragrances and makeup and a lot of other stuff, and just adding to cart and purchasing. Sometimes things work out, sometimes they don't. All of that is fine. I'm totally okay with all of that. But sampling has been helpful in the sense that there have been some fragrances that were really standouts that I put on a wish list that maybe I would not have looked at if I didn't sample. And quite frankly, there have been some that went off of the imaginary wish list because the sampling experience was really like a big fat no. Of course, there are some in between that you just don't know about. And I will always say, as I have in all my other videos, it's really important to try a fragrance, like really try it to get a good sense of whether it works for you or not. Sampling can be a little bit tricky because it doesn't give you a super full picture, but you get an idea. All right, let's get to it. So with these videos, I tell you whether I think the fragrance is mass appealing or not. Would a lot of people like it? I give you my first impressions about it. I tell you a little bit about the performance. And then I tell you from my personal experience whether I think that the fragrance is full bottle worthy or not. So we are going to start with Stephane Humbert Lucas Venom Incarnat. I tried God of Fire in a previous episode and liked it, felt like the performance maybe fizzled out, a little bit sooner than I would want for such an expensive fragrance. Venom Incarnat comes in the red bottle. These are really interesting looking bottles. Some people hate the whole like snake motif. How do you feel about that? I don't ascribe more symbolism to them than just maybe the creator enjoyed the snake symbol. I mean, people are like, oh my God, it's demonic, it's satanic. Come on, y'all. It's just a snake. Snakes are out in the wild, just like any other animals. Anyway, I'm not going to get into all that. Venom Incarnat. Is it mass appealing? I would say maybe on this fragrance. For me, this came across, I have my notes down here in a spreadsheet where, I spend hours and hours testing these for you all. So this came across to me very berry fruity. Berries. So I'm talking about like blackberries and raspberries and blueberries, like a mishmash of all of that together. This was like a sweet vanilla milkshake consistency for me. It was bright and effervescent. I will say that this fragrance is what I was really hoping Burberry Elixir would be in the pink bottle. That fragrance smells really great on some people. On me, it just felt a little bit flat. I liked something about it. And as I wore that fragrance more and more when I sampled it, it just got a little bit stranger in the dry down, Burberry Elixir. However, Venom Incarnat was what I imagined that fragrance to be like based on people's descriptions of it being like a strawberry or a strawberry milkshake. So this was moderate to long lasting for me, at least when I sampled it. And yes, I would definitely want a full bottle of this. And I have to say that my hubby loved it, which always gives something a big thumbs up for me, even more so if I like it also. So he immediately thought this was a really sniff-worthy fragrance and was very interested in continuing to sniff it. We're going to go to Vilhelm Parfumerie Opus Kore, which has been getting a little bit of hype here recently on YouTube. I think that in terms of mass appeal, this is a maybe. I'm not sure how people would feel about this in mass, like a huge crowd of people. If you surveyed them, what would they think as a whole? This to me had a clean fruitiness with hints of citrus. I thought that this was nice, but I have to say that this did not wow me. I thought that this was okay. I don't need every fragrance to wow me. Certainly the ones that I have in my collection don't all wow me. So that's neither here nor there, but I did want to say that this wasn't a standout fragrance for me. And I found that the performance on this was soft to moderate in terms of projection and longevity, at least as a sample. Again, take this all with a grain of salt. You all, this is all sampling. So keep that in mind and know that you really have to try something for yourself, like spritz it in store to see what you think. I don't have stores around here where I can go try fragrances. So this is the closest that I get. Full bottle worthy, I wrote, no, I don't need this, at least for myself in my own collection, but I do think that this is very pleasant. And it's not one that I would tell people not to buy. If you're looking for something clean, a little bit fruity with some citrus, go for it. Really nice fragrance from that perspective. I tried Mancera Melody of the Sun. The name alone is super interesting to me. I was really hoping for something in the neighborhood of a delicious summer solar fragrance is what I was hoping for. Mass appeal, maybe. I'm not entirely sure. Mostly this fragrance came across to me like citrus, a combination of a lemon and tea, citrusy type of scent with some woodiness to it. And so it was very different and opposite of like what I was expecting in terms of your typical summer, maybe even a beachy fragrance, but I was thinking solar in particular, like those notes that remind you of a super duper hot day. This was moderate to long lasting, as are most Manceras. I am not interested in a bottle of this. However, I thought it was a nice fragrance. So I don't know how much hype this next fragrance gets anymore. It definitely had a moment sort of in the YouTube sun, maybe a couple of years ago. The perfume house is called Yosh, I believe, Yosh, and it's Ginger Ciao. The name alone was really interesting to me. I love a good ginger fragrance. I have ginger essence from Origins, which I adore and have been wearing for years. And just I appreciate a ginger note, a good ginger note in a fragrance. This was a big disappointment for me in particular. This was a no in terms of mass appeal. I did not find this to be an appealing smell at all. My notes are that it was a synthetic feeling ginger, and it had what I think is something in the neighborhood of a plasticky tuberose. I don't think there's tuberose listed for this fragrance, or at least I don't remember from the note structure, but that's kind of what my nose picked up. It was like Madonna's Truth or Dare or Carnal Flower-esque. Like it was trying to be like those fragrances, but didn't quite get there. Like it was almost like a cheap imitation of those. I felt like it was really sheer in terms of the texture of the fragrance, and I found it kind of like high pitched in tone. There was something, I guess some people might call that screechy, but I'll just say that it seemed kind of high pitched for me. So this had moderate to long lasting performance all around, but it's a no for me. This is not a fragrance that I'm interested in, and I'm super glad that I tried this one ahead of time because it's just the type of fragrance that I would have blind bought and then regretted and had to figure out how to sell or give away to someone. Next, we come to Mancera's Tonka Cola. I heard my girl here, Jackie at Jack's Beautiful You, talking about this. This one had a moment maybe when it first came out, and I think maybe is becoming more available in the States recently. I'm not entirely sure, but I don't think this is a mass appealing fragrance. I have to say that. I don't think like a crowd of people would be like, yeah, that's a great one. I think they would think it was odd. For me, I would describe this as having an opening that it evoked immediate nostalgia for me. It was fizzy. It was happy. It reminded me of root beer. Like when you first open a can or bottle of root beer, that fizziness that comes up into your face and that sweetness combined with what I would call a novelty Coca-Cola. So, you know, when you're checking out at the counter at the grocery store, sometimes they'll have those like limited edition Coca-Colas, like a Moonlight Coca-Cola or I don't know, like a cotton candy Coca-Cola. I don't remember what all the names are, but recently we got one that my husband really liked. It was a little bit too sweet for me. There was like almost like a sweet nuttiness inside of the Coca-Cola that I didn't care for as a taste, but I liked the way that it smelled. So root beer plus Coca-Cola is what I got from Tonka Cola. As it settled down, it became really sweet and spicy, nice spiciness in it, fizzy in the mid. It had a licorice background. I'm not a huge licorice lover, but it was fine in here. And then I think as it continued to settle down, I got more of like a cinnamon and maybe even a leather deep into the dry down. This was a fun fragrance. And it had moderate to long lasting power to it. And would I want this? A strong maybe. I found this unique and interesting, a really fresh offering in the market, not fresh in terms of the profile, but fresh as in this is different. And I really want to take a look at this maybe in the winter. This reminds me of winter holidays. Now watch me have it like in my collection next week. But in terms of when it would be great to wear this into the deep fall and winter, particularly because of the cinnamon and that just fun like root beer Coca-Cola thing, really an interesting fragrance. So then from a brand called West Third, which I have never tried before, this is not hype. I just wanted to include it in here. It's called Sandalo Tuberosa. Yes, this is a very, in my opinion, mass appealing fragrance. I got this immediate nostalgia again, like I did with Tonka Cola. This time it was something like I've smelled this before. I have happy memories associated with what this smells like. It was a soft sandalwood for me with this very, very easy, likable tuberose. So I found this to be nicely composed, easy on the nose, and rather sort of sophisticated in feel. Overall, this was soft and subtle and inoffensive in terms of its performance. Like it's not going to, get into other people's spaces. This is a for you and the people that are right in your scent bubble kind of a fragrance. Would I want this? Maybe. I definitely enjoyed it, and the opening of this fragrance captivated me enough. I have lots of tuberose fragrances. I don't think, a lot of like sandalwood and tuberose fragrances. Maybe like Chinatown and a few others. So in that sense, this is a little bit on the different side for me, and I enjoyed it. And I would tell people to check this out, and I'm interested in checking out others from this brand. So then from Arquiste, Indigo Smoke has been getting some smoke, not smoke, shine on YouTube. I don't think this is a mass appealing fragrance. I did find this to be intriguing as a fragrance. Dark, slightly smoky. It came across as like burnt tea leaves. And I literally mean like smoked tea leaves. Woody, it was earthy, and it had just like a tiny bit of juiciness deep in the background, juicy fruitiness and deep in the background. This was moderate to long lasting upon sampling. Would I want this? So here's an interesting one. Maybe this is a very daring and bold offering in the fragrance market, not for the faint of heart or those of you that like a shyer fragrance. This is a very much unique, different, in your face, smoky, dark, sort of brooding fragrance, but not for me. I went through a period where I loved incensey, deep, dark, woody, leathery fragrances, and I still have some of those in my collection, but I've culled them down to just the ones that I truly love and think that I would crave when the weather was appropriate. The vast majority of those I have either sold off, given to my husband, or passed along to friends. This one I think would smell really great on my husband if he was interested in it. I would probably not be interested in wearing this for myself. So then I'm going to go next to Milano Fragranze, and the scent is called Basilica. The name alone, of course, is super interesting. This is a no. I don't think that this is a mass appealing fragrance. This is mostly a basil fragrance, which is an interesting play on the word basilica. And I believe that it's actually rosemary and thyme. And I have a question mark because I don't remember if I saw that in the note structure or if that's what I picked up. But it feels like basil to my nose. It definitely Italian herbs. Like that's what I get out of this fragrance. Italian herbs stewing in warm milk. That's how I would describe this fragrance. Milky and herby in a savory direction. It was moderate to long lasting all around. And this is not for me. I do think this is an interesting offering in terms of fragrances having some artistic, value to them. And so if you want something that's different and unique and that everybody else doesn't have, try Basilica and just know that it will be a savory, milky fragrance. Okay. In that sense, it's interesting for sure. I didn't turn my nose up at it. I just don't think I want to smell like this. Okay. Then from room 1015, we've seen Sonic Flower getting some love on YouTube and making the rounds through a number of channels. In terms of mass appeal, I feel like this is a maybe. It's a certain kind of person that would love this fragrance. I very, very much got a strong lipstick vibe from Sonic Flower. It was mostly for me a soft, muted iris. It had a veil of thin powderiness that ran throughout the life of the fragrance and a very light, musky, woody background. So it had its beauty in terms of being a lipsticky, irisy fragrance, moderate all around. I don't know that I would particularly need or want a bottle of this. However, for people that are iris lovers and interested in collecting iris and like a musky iris, they might want to take a look at this. This reminded me very much of Apollonia from Xerjoff. Apollonia tends to be quite sort of muted and soft. This is somewhat like in that same family, not exactly the same. It's not like I would say they're one for one. And this is, it's a great lipstick makeup smell if that is your zhuzh. Absolutely check this out. The bottle's gorgeous too. I don't know that I want it in my collection. I'm looking up at my iris section of the shelf. I've got probably 6, 7, or 8 irises that I'm pretty happy with, but this is a good one if you're looking for one. Okay. Then Goldfield and Banks. So I don't know why I keep trying fragrances from this house. I'm really just hoping that my sampling experience is lackluster because a lot of folks rave about Goldfield and Banks and they love them. So, I trust people's opinion and maybe I just haven't had like the best luck with them. I don't dislike any of them. I guess I would describe it as I did the last time. My experience with Goldfield and Banks, my experience has been lackluster, although I know a lot of people really, really love some fragrances from this line. Ingenious Ginger. What a name. Like the name alone is super cool and draws you in. So I was like, this is going to be the ginger fragrance for Veronica. I'm going to love this. I'm going to go ahead and get a sample of this. I do think that this is mass appealing. So I gave this a big yes. It definitely has a zesty ginger in it with what I would call detergent vibes. However, hubby said that this fragrance for him was confusing. He got woody fire combined with gourmand, and he felt like the fragrance kept changing personalities on him. Like every time he came in for a sniff, he was like, oh my God, it smells different now. So he was a little bit confused by this fragrance. For me, the opening was really, really great. I was like, wow, this is really, really what I was looking for. And then it got soft and I would say a little bit flat in the mid and in the dry down, which is what has happened for me with most of the other Goldfield and Banks fragrances that I've tried. They're a really fantastic opening. And then as they live on my skin, they dry down and get really soft and a little bit pale and stale. So, but some people love these. So maybe in terms of a full bottle, I want to test this one further because I want to like it. I want to like Ingenious Ginger. I love that name and I love the concept of the fragrance. So in fairness to it, it's one that I probably will try again. That has happened before, and I have fallen in love with fragrances that I didn't think I liked upon first sniff, and the vice versa. That has happened too the other way around. Okay. So then Giardini di Toscana. This is a house that has been getting a lot of hype. So Bianco Latte. I have to tell y'all, Farida, who goes by Yellow Scents on Instagram. She is so lovely. Please go follow her on Instagram. I wish she had a channel. She sent me some samples a while back of some beautiful gourmands. Among them was Bianco Latte. And I liked it then. Didn't know that I would love it the way that I do. And I went ahead and ordered a sample, forgetting that she had sent me one. This is how much we sample, you guys. I have like this bucket over there with literally hundreds of little samples that I've exchanged with other YouTubers, Instagrammers, and some of you as viewers have been so sweet and sent me samples and so forth. So, and we've exchanged too. Bianco Latte. Is it mass appealing? I'm going to go ahead and say yes, particularly for gourmand lovers. This was for me a cinnamon bun that was slathered with a pistachio paste. I don't think there's pistachio in the note structure, but I'm saying that that's what my mind conjured up. I love a cinnamon bun. I love a good cinnamon bun. I love the smell from the cinnamon buns in the mall. I try not to eat them because the sugar is outrageous, but a cinnamon bun with pistachio paste on top of it. I also got like a cotton candy-esque type of vibe from this, and I found this to be a milky fragrance. The opening of this fragrance was amazing, and the mid and the dry down was really darn good. So I have yes in terms of am I interested in a bottle of this fragrance. I actually have it in cart at Lucky Scent as of filming this video, along with another fragrance I'm going to talk about momentarily, because I'm really interested in it. And a full bottle is $145 on Lucky Scent, which, as far as, really great niche fragrances go, that can be on the less expensive side. And so I find that to be very reasonable. This is a very gourmand fragrance. So you've got to be a lover of those sweet gourmand fragrances. Now, let me talk about another Giardini di Toscana fragrance, Borabora, which is getting its come up on YouTube. It has appeared on a number of channels, particularly as we're moving into summer. And I have it recommended in my Luxe Summer Fragrances video in the pinned comment. I have a list of fragrances in the comment for people to try out that I didn't get to talk about in the video. In terms of mass appeal, this is a maybe, and here's why. This is not for me what other people describe it to be as. So for example, some folks talk about it being a beachy fragrance, coconutty. I found this to be more than anything, heady, like heady, white floral, meaning it's overwhelming in some ways at the beginning with heavy ylang-ylang in the opening. This had a slightly plasticky vibe to it. However, That plasticky vibe for me was not off-putting in any way. Sometimes a plasticky vibe is like, let me put that back on the shelf. It was okay in here. It wasn't a big deal. It does have a coconut accord, but I find that the coconut was a little bit paler in comparison to the white florals and that ylang-ylang that takes center stage for this. I found this to be a little bit on the sweet side, feminine for sure. It reminded me quite a bit of Aloha Tiara from Comptoir Sud Pacifique, like a much smoother, more elevated, refined version of that fragrance. So this is in cart along with Bianco Latte. I want to know from you if you have tried it. Someone asked me in the comments, hey Sarah, how you doing? If the ylang-ylang in this fragrance came across a little bit banana-esque. I do think it does have a little bit of that banana vibe in it. So if that's off-putting for you, this may not be the fragrance for you. It's not overpowering, but it's there. So I just want to warn people who don't like that. This was moderate all around. It wasn't like super projecting, super long lasting, but it was a good performer in general, like decent. And, you know, full bottle, my initial comments were maybe because I have so many like this, but then I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I'll be honest with y'all, the bottles on these are really pretty. And as we get into summer, you know, my mind gets like greedy in terms of thinking about summer fragrances. So this is sitting in cart along with Bianco Latte. Okay. So then, Unique E, Unique A, Mangonifiscent. I have to say that I tried maybe 4 or 5 fragrances from this house when it first started to get hyped up on Instagram and YouTube. And they were really, really strong, pungent, potent, like knock you out in your face kinds of fragrances. So know that you're going to get performance from these fragrances. The bottles are gorgeous on them. This one is in a green bottle, which is really interesting. I do not think Mangonifiscent is mass appealing. I got to get myself together for this one. When I sprayed this on, my husband came into the room, like I spritzed on my arm or hand or whatever. He like walked in 3 feet away from me. I had just literally like 1 or 2 spritzes. He walked in 3 feet away from me and he said, "What the is that?" He literally started to joke. He said, "I'm hurt. There's a little skunk and a little melon in that fragrance, and I find it abusive and violating." Violating. Those were his comments about this fragrance. And I have to say, as much as I wanted to love this, because I'm always like in search of that absolutely perfect mango fragrance, which I haven't found yet. I've got some nice, you know, mango mixes in my collection, but that mango fragrance, you know, I'm inclined to agree. I found the opening of this to be rather like wretched and unbearable. I myself recoiled as he was recoiling with his expletives. And I found the dry down of this to come across a little bit like hairspray combined with mentholated honeydew, like the fruit honeydew, mentholated. So this one really confused me. And I'm sorry for those of you that love this if that seems like a harsh review, but I'm always going to keep it 100 with you. So I had to just share that. So if you've tried this and you disagree, do let us know. I always encourage people's other opinions in the comments because I think it helps give other viewers a more well-rounded view. I'm only one person with one nose, but in this case, I'm also giving you the impressions of my husband. But let us know in the comments if you enjoyed this fragrance. And if so, describe it from your perspective so people can see if they're considering this, okay? So Hilde Soliani, Mango on the Rocks. I love the name of that, Mango on the Rocks. Again, searching for that perfect mango fragrance. I don't think that this is mass appealing. And the only thing I wrote down about this is that it had a sharp, tart citrus opening. This was a very scratchy fragrance for me. It was moderate to long lasting. And it was, you know, no, it's not for me at all. This is not what I'm looking for. I need something a little bit smoother. So again, like with Mangonifiscent, if you've tried Mango on the Rocks and you like it, share with us in the comments. Let's go then to Jousset, which is another house that has been hit or miss. I did get Accident à la Vanille, Madeleine de Proust, which I sampled in one of these videos a while back and really liked. So that's sitting in my collection and I do love that one. Super gourmand. This is Accident à la Vanille, Creme de la Berry. Creme de la Berry. Is this mass appealing? Yes. I think a lot of people would actually like this fragrance. It smelled to me like fruity cereal. As I've always said, I am not a cereal eater, but I've smelled a lot of cereals in my lifetime, and friends around me and siblings ate cereal. So fruity cereal in the opening. I did find that this got just a little tiny bit stale on the dry down. So it's really the opening of this fragrance that was most appealing. In terms of longevity, it was a little bit like I wrote the word meh, meh, in terms of performance. I don't think this is for me, but if you are a berry lover and the idea of smelling like a berry cereal is appealing to you, I would say absolutely get a sample of this and see if it tickles your fancy. So then I talked about this one in my coconut video from Miu Miu. Do you say Miu, or Miu Miu? That house, which is also designer. Don't they make clothing? Fleur de Lait. Fleur de Lait. Yes, I do think that this is a rather mass appealing fragrance. This has a very tropical vibe. It's light, it's fresh, it's a very flirty fragrance. For me, this is all about a nice, soft mango and a milky coconut. They're like equal players in this fragrance. It's nice in the opening. You think it's going to be like ordinary or whatever, and then it dries down and you're getting these whiffs of this nice like tropical vibe that's, like I said, fun and flirty. Okay, I see someone like with a cute skirt on, constantly like shaking their tail feather so that the skirt sort of, moves around if it has some, I don't know, tassels or something like that, or some ruffles or whatever, that kind of an outfit with this. So the bottle on this is simply gorgeous. I think that this is really cute looking, moderate to long lasting. Yes, in terms of what I want to bottle, not now. I think I have enough of these kinds of fragrances in my own personal collection. But if you don't, and you're looking at this, thumbs up on this. Thumbs up, definite thumbs up. It was nice, very, very nice. So then in one of the vanilla videos that I did recently, I think I had like an alluring vanilla video and easy reach. Here are the thumbnails for them. Someone in the comments said, try Vanagloria. And I did, and spoiler alert, I ended up purchasing a bottle. I really, really like this a lot. Yes, I do think that this is mass appealing. What this smells like to me, it's a very sweet, creamy, floral vanilla fragrance. It has a slight kick of zest. I don't know if it's like ginger or something along those lines that gives it just a little bit of kick. And it has a faint candied note in the dry down. This is delicious, really nice. Like I said, creamy, floral vanilla fragrance that I found to be very, very smooth. Like when people talk about a refined fragrance, this one definitely comes to mind. So I'm going to enjoy this, and it has decent longevity and projection. And this was very smooth, as I mentioned. I wrote smooth and unassuming, like just really easy and smooth and nice, real nice. So then I did get some samples from Keiko Masheri. I hope that's how you say the name. And this one is Peau de Pêche, which I think translates into peach skin or skin made of peach or something like that. Mass appealing, I wrote, sure, like this is a nice fragrance. It's so soft and sheer though, so I want to be clear about that. It's like a pale, light, peachy skin scent. It's slightly musky. I can see this being one of those fragrances that if you like a fruity fragrance and you want to smell like ever so better than your skin kind of a situation, that this might be a good one. So if Glossier You, for example, smells like the lipstick version or the makeup version rather of a Your Skin But Better fragrance, this is the peachy version of that. Very light, very easygoing, probably great for summer. For me, it was so soft that I had a hard time detecting it, but I think this kind of fragrance would appeal to a lot of people who want just that. They don't want for people to smell their fragrance before they interact with them. They want it to be unassuming and in the background and skin-like. This might be one that you'd be interested in looking at. I don't want a full bottle of this. I didn't find this unique or interesting enough to really pursue. But again, if you're into that kind of thing, just something soft and subtle, check out Peau de Pêche. It's absolutely inoffensive and just very, very pleasant. Then going on to one that I nearly blind bought. And here's where I'm glad that I went ahead and got a sample of this, because I had it in cart and was very close to paying full price. I was searching around for a discount, because I love a discount code. And I did happen to find one, and then was like, whoa, horsey. And in the meantime, while I was doing all of that, the thing sold out. It's actually back in stock. I have a So Avant-Garde code. It's on So Avant-Garde. Is it in stock now? Anyway, so this is Liquid Imaginaire Dame Rosa Millesime. So the original Dame Rosa, I really liked. I sampled, enjoyed that, like fizzy, champagne, rosy, happy, living your best flirty life fragrance. So if that was great, surely Dame Rosa Millesime was going to be even better. Well, friends, I have to say that for me, I said no in terms of this being mass appealing. But let me explain. Let me explain to you. Let me tell you something. Let me explain to you. I got grapefruit from this. That's what my nose smelled when I sprayed this. Grapefruit. It was really tart. And so it came across herbal, spicy, and woody with that grapefruit on top. It reminded me somewhat of Chanel Eau Fraiche. Chanel Eau Fraiche, but like with a grapefruit lean. This was long lasting all around as a fragrance. So here's what I have to say and why I'm glad that I sampled it. Not what I was expecting at all. I was expecting even more champagne and more sort of rosy, fizzy, happy, maybe a little bit of woodiness. However, if you are looking for a sprightly, robust citrus with a lot of personality for summer, this might be a good choice. Dom Rosa Millesime might be a good choice. But you have to know what you're getting yourself into. You cannot expect like the girliness that came with the original Dom Rosa. I'm not saying that this is masculine at all. In fact, I don't think so. I think it's really quite unisex. But I do want to say that the tart citrus aspects of it with a little bit of herbal touch are prominent. At least that's what my nose was picking up without looking at the note structure. And if you want that, this might be the fragrance for you. So keep that in mind. You sort of have to abandon what you think it would smell like. Finally, the last sample is Tiger from Zoologist, which I think was highly anticipated. I believe it's new. People have been talking about it like it's new. For me, in terms of mass appeal, I literally wrote, hell no. This had a rude, pungent opening of like a wet, rotting wood scent to me. As it dried down, it got a little bit drier in terms of the texture, but it was still sharply woody and rather earthy and incredibly masculine. So this is something, if you like feminine fragrances, no. And if you want something that's deeply in the masculine direction and very woody, definitely check this out. The bottle is stinking freaking cute. I got my first Zoologist, by the way, as a result of this sampling. I got Snowy Owl. You want to see it? Hang on. Look at the cuteness that is this bottle. The Zoologist fragrances, whoever does the artwork for this is like pure genius. So we have owls in our backyard, and on occasion we are blessed to hear them. Hoo, hoo. So I just love the idea of this. I talked about this. That's not what this video is about. I talked about this in another one of these. Don't go blind buying this. This is a really strange one, but I really, really like it a lot. Back to Tiger. This is a rude, woody fragrance. Okay. Not for me. I don't think that my hubby would be really into this either, but some people out there like a deeply woody fragrance. And so if so, check this out. So we're at the close of the episode of Buy or Pass Opinions on Hyped and Popular Fragrances. Have you tried any of these? Let us know in the comments your thoughts. Really interested in hearing what you think. Thanks so much for watching. I love doing these for you. They were a lot of fun. And I'll see you in episode 9.